Hello there everyone, I wanted to make a quick video today just to catch you all up more than anything on where the channel is, talk about my experiences in TwitchCon in Amsterdam, what an eye-opening and amazing experience that was for me, but I also want to give a bit of a personal experience to you guys that I hope will give you a bit of insight into me as a content creator, me as a person, and honestly just allow myself to speak freely for a little while. Now I'm not actually monetizing this video because the purpose of it, while it will touch on some unpleasant experiences that I've had, is not meant for sympathy in any way, but more to get some stuff off of my chest so that I can move forward as a creator on encouragement from other creators that I've had the pleasure of meeting over this past week, and some that I've spoken to that I'd met previously. So if you're not interested in me as a person or don't want to hear about anything outside of the content like Dissidia or Final Fantasy generally that you currently know me for, then this video is probably not going to be for you. But for those of you who do want to stick around and listen to what I have to say, perhaps get to know me a little bit better, I really appreciate you being here, as honestly this isn't the easiest thing for me to film. I want to be very clear though that this is an exercise in positivity, and the reason that I'm filming this is because I'm actually really excited for my future as a creator, the future of this channel, and honestly this past week has opened my eyes in many ways, and I really honestly just want to share that with you guys as my audience. So first things first, I want to talk about something that's actually pretty amazing, which was TwitchCon Amsterdam. So I'm going to have some pictures on the side that are going to pop up here that will hopefully give some context as to what I'm going to talk about here. But I had a pretty extraordinary experience in Amsterdam, one that has really begun to shape who I am as a creator, thanks to meeting a wonderful array of people, some of which I knew, some of which knew of me, and some completely new faces, which allowed me to honestly remember who I was after 2 years of isolation, as honestly, even after lockdowns and stuff were lifted, I spent so much time sort of behind my desk, making videos, doing research, making sure people are okay online, whether it's Patreon or Discord, streaming obviously, all of that stuff. I've kind of become very isolated as a person, and so to go out there, I thrive in those kinds of environments where I'm meeting new people, talking to new faces, getting to know people, and it really was just an incredible ability to have that at that event where I was able to learn about other people's stories, share my own, and forge some relationships and bonds that will hopefully last and make memories that will stick with me for a long time to come. And of course, being a partnered streamer, I was able to attend events with people just like me that make their living off of being a content creator and sharing some of the challenges that comes with that, which honestly felt like the weight of the world being taken off my shoulders, as I do firmly believe that unless you've experienced this kind of thing, it's very glamorized by a lot of people, but it's definitely got a lot of challenges that people maybe don't think about. And obviously if you talk about them, people kind of dismiss them a lot because they think, oh no, it's fine, you do YouTube, you do Twitch, you play games for a living and stuff like that. So it was very, very illuminating to be able to speak to other people and that have a similar experience to me and know what goes into what we do as content creators. I mean, I honestly even came across content creators that lived extremely close to me, and one or two that I'd actually known for years and I didn't even know streamed, let alone that they were sitting in the partner lounges with me. It was crazy, and it really just blew my mind about the fact that I'd been missing this for so long. And I got really emotional over the weekend, just because I'm like, oh my god, I've remembered who I am, and that's really important. It was super magical. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, getting back to the point, in part due to self-infliction, and in part due to negative experiences that I've had over the past couple of years, which I will touch on later, I'd always felt like I'd been taking this journey alone, and like never really connected with very many other content creators. Not none, but not very many. Because I'm, rather ironically, given what I do for a living, a lot better at socializing in person than I am online. But here, in this environment, I felt like I belonged here, and I'd worked hard, and I'd managed to dispel a lot of the imposter syndrome that had plagued me up until that point as a streamer, and for that I'm so grateful. Now, of course, don't get me wrong, I'm extremely grateful to all of you as well, the viewers of my various channels as well, with certainly those that I've had the pleasure of speaking to either in Discord, on Twitch, or even in person at one of my meetups, but there was always a level of uneasiness for me that came from unfortunately, most notably, the Dissidia community that I had struggled to shake for a long time, which sounds ridiculous because it's the game that got me to where I am today as a creator. Now, this brings me to the part of the video that there's going to be me saying some things that I need to get off of my chest. Now, while I understand that being a public figure, particularly on the internet, comes with its bugbears, such as your trolls and what have you, I have persistently had to deal with bigotry and homophobia whenever I even make an allusion to something that could be considered as gay, or showing even the slightest amount of myself, and bullying, not just from trolls and the like, but in some cases other content creators as well. Now, I've never explicitly spoken about why I left my job in London a couple of years ago and came back to streaming. That's because it was an extremely traumatic experience for me. Now, I want to be extremely clear. What I'm about to tell you has nothing to do with the company that I worked for in London. They were very good to me, and I actually maintain a very strong relationship with them that I hope to continue for a long time to come. But I was fairly unhappy with myself at the time, and unfortunately, outside Waterloo Station, I was assaulted in a particular way that I certainly don't want to speak too heavily on for fear of triggering anyone that might be watching, may have experienced something similar, or honestly, myself. This rendered me unable to be able to go to work every day without fear and feeling disgust at myself for a very long time. Now, when I came back to content creation back in 2020, bear in mind that we'd just entered a pandemic and everything was also kind of hitting the fan there as well. I remember vividly, and long-time viewers of mine will probably remember this as well, sadly, whenever I would pop into a stream for the community stream or try and interact with people in larger sort of scale environments, I would be met with a lot of either homophobic slurs or comments along the lines of Joe's a shill, Joe doesn't care about the game anymore, Joe doesn't care about you, he only has the company's interests in mind. All of this kind of stuff, while I'd already felt probably the lowest I'd ever felt in my entire life. I've walked into another content creator stream to try and support them, to discover that they were bad-mouthing me to their audience. I have confronted multiple people about lies and things that they've said that have hurt me, and I've tried to keep it all in for a really long time because I don't want to create drama, I want to prevent drama, and for that reason, no, you will not get any names out of me. I don't care whether people think, oh, Joe's vague booking or whatever. I don't care. I'm not here to create drama. I want it to be over, and I want to be able to move on from it, which is why I'm addressing it now. But I've been gaslighted the whole time as well. Like, I take things too seriously. What do you care? Your following's big anyway. It's like, well, to be honest with you, I do care. I've always cared about that kind of thing. I've always been very proud of the idea that I have fostered a safe community, a kind community. I value kindness because, you know, we sit there and we talk about these things. There are people who come into my streams all the time that have experienced rough times, that identify as LGBT, all sorts of these things, and I want to create a safe environment for everybody. But I haven't been creating that for myself because I think, if I'm honest, I've held back a lot of myself from my content for fear of the way that people would treat me because of the experiences that I'd had before. Honestly, like, it was a minor experience, but only the other day I uploaded a photo of me and my husband onto my socials, mostly as a way of me going, oh, by the way, I got home from Amsterdam safe, because my travelling home was an absolute mare. If you've been catching up on my socials, you know all about that. But yeah, I didn't even think about the fact that it was me and another man. It was a case of I uploaded a photo to let everybody know I was safe. I lost 50 subscribers for that, with comments such as, we don't need to hear about your private life, and stuff like that. And honestly, I would rather someone come up to me and call me an actual slur to my face than gaslight that kind of way, because we all know that that's not what that means. But this is the thing. Single comment, single thing, I can deal with that. I've been able to deal with that for a long time. It builds up over the course of time, and after this sort of behaviour continued to happen for a long time, I began to break, and because of it, I became a bit more insular. And honestly, going to this convention in Amsterdam and meeting people like me who are amazing content creators that are either queer or they are doing just wonderful things for their communities, whether it be any kind of community, not necessarily restricted to that, it really opened my eyes. I'm like, oh my god, I'm not alone. It was extremely illuminating, and because of that, I felt inspired, and having spoken to them, I was very encouraged as well to speak out about these things, because I don't want to hold back anymore. I don't want to not be myself to please people who clearly don't care about me. And don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting there saying that the Dissidia community is evil. I know that there's like the people I'm speaking of are in the minority. I've met wonderful people throughout all of this, but after 2 and a bit years of dealing with a lot of these kinds of not very nice behaviours, and I'm not necessarily saying that all of these people are homophobic or bigots. A lot of people had their things to say about me because maybe they disagreed on something I said in Dissidia, and that would then lead into multiple different facets, and then it would just snowball from there. It's hard, it's difficult, and I won't lie, before I went over to TwitchCon, there was a part of me that seriously considered packing it all in, because I wasn't sure that I wanted to do this anymore, but I do. I love what I do. I love the fact that I can foster a community, bring people together, and do some amazing things. Like, yeah, all we do is play video games, but it's so much more than that. Like, we've raised so much money for charity. We've, like, made people feel safe. If honestly, the thing that, like, sits in my head now that didn't before is for every person who threw a homophobic comment at me, or a bigoted comment that's like saying, oh, I'm unsubbing to you because this, that, and the other. There's someone else out there that probably looks at somebody like me and thinks, do you know what? If he can do it, so can I. And that, to me, is a really, really big deal. So before I end up in a state, let's bring it all back to the positive. Where are we going to go from here? So there's a lot of facets about me as a person that I'd love to share with everybody, but I understand that the majority of people come to my channel for one thing currently, which is Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. Now, I'm not abandoning this game in any way, shape, or form. I still really enjoy it. In fact, I actually enjoy it more now than I have done for a while. But there is a permeating feeling that the majority of my audience only cares about DFFOO from me, and that's something that sticks in my head really badly, as it feels like if I deviate even slightly from Dissidia Opera Omnia, I feel punished for doing that, because clearly there's something that people just come to this channel to see. But the channel's name is Joesephyr, it's not Joesephyr DFFOO, so I would like to try and branch out a little more, and I've tried time and time again, and maybe that's due to my own inconsistency and fear of things not succeeding. I end up reverting back to my comfort zone. Release your should you pull videos, release your pulls and your clears, and just go back to normal because that's what I know how to do. Well, from here on out, what I would like to do is branch out, and I would like to become a Final Fantasy-centric variety streamer and creator over the course of time. I'm not entirely sure what that looks like just yet, but that is the end goal for me. I can tell you some of the ideas that I have had though, and I hope that you guys will enjoy them. I've been working on the idea of making YouTube shorts with a focus on Final Fantasy XIV, helping people quickly learn tips and tricks for the game to help them navigate now that I'm that much more confident in the game than I used to be. As a matter of fact, I have like a little prototype kind of thing that I'd like to show you guys before we continue, and you guys can tell me what you think. Did you know that you can actually move while casting in FF14 way more quickly than the cast bar suggests? This is something called slide casting, and it's something that higher end players do with practically every move they do, and is essential to learning your casting job. If you're not sure how soon before the end of your cast you can actually move, try using a hotbar full of emotes to let you know, as they'll be usable as the exact time you're able to move. If you want to know more for Final Fantasy XIV tips, tricks and trivia, then subscribe to the channel. So yeah, I wanted to make something like that I thought would work for something quick that you can look on mobile, or maybe you'd see something different, and then hopefully if that does well, I could then blossom into more FF14 content, because I really do love that game. I also wanted to start Instagram up again, and feel free to search for Joesephyr on Insta. It's the same name as my YouTube and Twitch name, in order to showcase my abilities as an artist, both as a fine artist and a makeup artist. Now, I know that this is not a makeup channel or anything like that, and it's not gonna become one, so don't worry about that, but I'd still like to be able to share those abilities, because I am trained in that field. Like, I am a trained artist, I'm a trained makeup artist. It would be really sad if I'd spent all that time learning all those skills and not be able to bring them to another creative outlet that I have, which is content creation. So if you see me on stream and I'm wearing makeup or anything like that, it's because I finally feel the ability to be myself a little bit more, and I'd really love to kind of share a bit more me with everybody, because I don't want to be as reserved as I have been, out of fear of judgment and things like that, which I am definitely prone to doing. I understand that I'm possibly coming across a bit of a sensitive snowflake, but that's okay. I am me, and I like me, so I want to continue to sort of pull that forward, because I felt like I was losing that a little bit, and I don't want to do that anymore. What other things have I already looked at doing? I'm looking at traveling around a little bit more and showcasing both the gaming side of me, the artist side of me. I actually want to put those two things together, and I want to make it so that my art is gaming focused. Like, I thought about maybe doing eye looks for Instagram that were Final Fantasy XIV themed, like one for every job, so that people could share them around and they can go, hey, that's Joe's white mage look, or something like that. I don't know, it's just ideas that I have in my head. But I'd really love to travel around and kind of meet more people in real life. Honestly, the buzz, I'm sure you can tell that there's been a shift in me as a streamer, as a videographer, as a YouTuber, all of those things, since I came home from TwitchCon. So I want to go and do more of that. Like, honestly, I would die to go to TwitchCon again in San Diego later in the year and meet some of the wonderful people that I have actually met online, and some of you even who are over in the US. But obviously that's a very, very expensive endeavour, so I'd have to see how I could try and raise that kind of money beforehand. So if you have any ideas for that kind of thing, do let me know, and see how possible that actually is. And I know that previously I've always said, no more gacha. I'm done with gacha. I don't want this. And I think that that was always in part due to fear of the same thing happening with DFFOO as happened with other games, and I'm a lot more open to it now. I've kind of on the download been playing a couple of other gachas. Like, I've played Pokemon Masters, I've played a bit of Genshin Impact, I've played a bit of some others, but I'm kind of okay with it again now. And whenever Crisis comes out, I think it's a natural thing for me to cover, because it's, you know, gacha is something that I know a lot about, whether I like it or not, and whether I agree with it. But I want to go back to the creator I was for, like, Dissidia even, where I encouraged people to not spend resources and kind of get by with what you have. Don't get sucked into the whole gacha thing. The irony being that I obviously have a lot of resources and I've spent a lot of money on my Dissidia account, so I kind of feel like I lost my way a little bit with that as well. So with Ever Crisis, it being new and fresh, I kind of want to get back to that kind of point too. But ultimately, while I still love Dissidia Opera Omnia, I don't want it to become my entire persona. If you go back and look at my videos, Dissidia isn't always what I've done here. Yes, it's the thing that's elevated me to the reach that I have now, but it's not what I've always done. I started by painting Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic cards on YouTube, then I moved into FFTCG, and now obviously I'm a Dissidia creator. So while I don't want to stop doing Dissidia right now, I want to be able to express other interests that I have on this platform and other platforms like Twitter, Instagram, Discord, Twitch. I've been working on my Discord a lot as well recently, that I hope that people will enjoy in the same way as they enjoy the OO content, because I do think that I have a lot to offer as a creator, and it's very important as well, because honestly the gem cap situation started this, but speaking to other creators really reinforced it, is that if you are a creator, doing the same thing all the time doesn't work. You will get stagnant eventually. It's very important to adapt and evolve, and while I've done that in some ways, I think that as a person and as a creator I haven't been. I've held myself back because of fear and insecurity, and I'm being very honest about that. So don't worry, I'm not stopping OO, but I would love it if I could make content outside of it that people would love just as much on all of the Final Fantasy franchise and all of the things that I have to offer. So I don't want to go on for too much longer and bore you guys with all of this stuff. I guess I just wanted from this video, like I said at the beginning, to get some stuff off of my chest in the hope that people maybe can relate to some of the experience that I have, so that maybe I can learn to reach out a little more and not be so afraid of people. Because if I learn anything over TwitchCon, it's that everyone kind of feels some of that fear a little bit of reaching out, and like that social anxiety kind of comes into play and stuff like that. And yeah, I've had some pretty rough experiences in my time, but I've also had some pretty amazing ones as well. And without all of you that watch what I do or get anything out of what I do as a creator, I wouldn't be in the position I'm in to even speak about these things. So for that, I am extremely grateful. So for those of you who have watched any video that I've done, support the channel, whether it be financially or just by coming along and looking, and you know, to subscribers to the videos, or people who just talk to me, I'm actually very grateful. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm trying really hard to kind of come out of my shell and be the same person on the internet that I am in real life, because while I'm not fake in any way, I'm definitely not my full self either, and I would like to be able to do that. And being at TwitchCon, being at like around all these wonderful, amazing people that I look up to so much, really just opened my eyes to the pain I'd been internalizing for literally years, and something I don't want to do anymore. And while I will continue to progress and I enjoy my Dissidia stuff, I want to not feel so punished by myself. Like, I don't want to punish myself for doing things that are a little outside. I've tried many times, but I've never been consistent with it, and that's my fault. So honestly, for those of you that are watching, do leave a comment. Let me know what you would like to see from me in the future. And if anybody leaves any kinds of comments about not wanting to hear about my personal life, well, I did say that at the beginning of the video, it wasn't going to be for you. So if you're leaving a comment like that, I think that kind of says more about you than me at this point. So thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, all of that good stuff. But like I said, I really just wanted to make this video to make my feelings known about the way I have been as a content creator. I'd love to start doing more collaborative projects with people, maybe from Dissidia, maybe from outside of it, I don't know yet. I feel like I have a long way to go, and it's a lot of learning that I need to do as a content creator, but I'm really excited for that journey, and I hope that you guys will join me on that journey. So thank you very much for being here today, and I will see you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye now.